Hey, what's going on Facebook, YouTube, wherever else you might be finding me? This is Bill Jones again. I just want to take a few minutes and comment about a video that I saw earlier today. And it was about the mindset. And this young man, very articulate, he had posted a video about how it actually took a while to change your mindset from being so negative to being so positive. And I would have to respectfully, absolutely disagree with that because I've even learned this from Tony Robbins. If you want to, you can change your negative thought pattern to being positive, literally like that. Just a few keys that you need to focus on. One thing is what do you want? What are you striving for? What goals do you have? If you don't have goals, I don't care if it's New Year's resolutions, middle of the year, if you don't have goals, you need to have goals. You need to have something to strive for. And I'll get back to that here in just a few minutes. You need to have something to strive for. I cannot express that enough. If your goal every day is to get up at 5 o'clock, to be at work at 6 or 7, to work all day, to get home at 4 or 5 o'clock, to eat dinner, to go to bed, to do it again the next day, then you might need to look at your priorities and your goal settings. Some goals could be: I want to make a specific amount of money this year. I want to be debt free. I want to have two brand new cars in my driveway. I want to have a brand new Harley in my garage, which honestly is one of my goals that I'm going to achieve this year. I already have one Harley in there. I'm going to have another one by the end of this year. Probably a lot sooner, actually. Um, yeah, I already have two bikes and get a third. Well, yeah, that'll go well with the boss. Anyways, um, so if you don't have some goals to look for, every morning I get up, I go get a cup of coffee, I'll come sit at my computer, actually where I am right now, and I will look at my goals that I have on my right hand side, your left. You can actually see the, the edge of my board here where I actually have my goals here. How much money I want to make, uh, being completely debt free by the end of the year, including everything. And I have a list here. Also, if one of your goals is to buy a brand new car, if that's something you want to strive for, go online, find a picture of it, print it out, and pin it up. Look at it every day. This is a goal. I have a particular monetary amount that I want to make this year. I look at that every day. I want to make this amount of money by the end of the year. In order to do that, I have to do this every month. In order to do that, I have to do this every week. So I have to do this every day. So I actually have a goal. And a, a, another thing about goals, it gives you purpose. So all of you managers, supervisors, business owners, something that you want to think about with your employees. They are actually most happy when they are producing, when they are being productive. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about working them into the ground. But when an individual, whether you're in work, your free time, if you're producing, if you're being productive, it makes you happy. I don't care who you are across the board. That fills you with content. It makes you happy. I have goals. When I reach those goals, it makes me happy. Yesterday, I had the biggest day in my online business that I've had to date. And so today I was really wondering how my business was going, and I actually didn't check it until about 5:30 this afternoon. And when I checked it, I was like, "Oh my gosh, it wasn't good. It wasn't good at all. It was My numbers were nothing near what it was yesterday." And honestly, I was kind of bummed out. And it started to get to me. I was like, "Well, well, think about it. Maybe yesterday was just a fluke. You still have time during the day. Most people actually are online in the afternoon when they actually get off of work. So from 5:30 to 8:30, in that 3 hour period, I actually either just um, made the same amount that I actually did yesterday, and yesterday was my biggest day, or actually maybe by this point, actually even a little bit more. So, man, you're talking about being pumped. But for a minute there, when I first logged in, I was bummed out. I was like, wow, look at those numbers. But then I thought about, yesterday I had a really great day. And so, something I want you to think about when you are associated with people, whether it's friends, family, people from church, people that you don't know, that you're just talking on the street, when you're in the store, whatever the case may be, about the power of positivity and about how the negativity can be so contagious. I have somebody in my life that I'm really close to that I love dearly, but every time I talk to her, whether on the phone, she comes here, I go to her house, her whole basis of her conversation is completely negative. And if I'm at her house and she gets a phone call from one of her friends, it's the same thing. It's like they're having a contest about who can be the most negative. Well, I went to the doctor and I have this ailment. Well, I also have this ailment and this ailment. Well, you won't believe what happened. Actually, I have this ailment, and this ailment. And they put me on this medicine, and it's like a contest to see who can be the most miserable. The reason why I bring this up is because you have to be very cautious about who you associate with when it comes to that whole negativity. And I don't get me wrong, I really mean to approach this with a loving heart, as we should with anything. But one of the last conversations that I had with her, well, I noticed that having these conversations with her, when I got on the phone with her or I walked out the door, whatever the case may be, I felt completely drained. Honestly, I felt depressed. I was like, oh my gosh, all this going on. I felt depressed. And I was like, and it really got me down talking to her. And so I thought, you know what? And it was actually after listening to one of Tony Robbins' tapes. I was like, you know what I'm going to do? Next time I talk to her, this is how I'm going to start the conversation. And so she calls, and I was like, hey, how you doing? What positive things do you have to tell me today? There was an awkward moment of silence, and she was like, what do you mean? And I was like, you know, I've had so much negativity going on around me. I want to know something positive. What positivity do you have going on in your life? It was hard for her. Usually we would have conversations that would last an hour plus. This was an 11-minute conversation. An 11-minute, 10 to 11 minutes conversation. And it was just awkward. She was finding it hard to come up with positive things. Her whole being, her whole significance is centered around, I hate to say it, but it's centered around being miserable. How I'm feeling physically, the things that are wrong with me. Some of them are just completely made up in her head. People or at this organization are talking bad about me, and I mean, it just completely filled with negativity. And so the first conversation that we had after I said, let's just talk about things that are positive. What are positive things going on in your life? After that first conversation that I said was really awkward, she has actually gotten better. I'm not saying that she's completely there yet, but again, you have to approach that with a loving heart. I'll give you another example. Dear friend of mine, we go to church together. We have hung out together. He's actually been over to my house. We have done mechanical work before. Had a great time, just bonding, fellowshipping. But very negative person, and he openly admits it. And I ask him, "Why are you so negative?" And especially being a Christian man that you are, that the love that we have and how much good that we have in our life, how blessed we are. And I'm not going to get on that soapbox, but how blessed we are. And yet you are so negative all the time. I actually started calling him Mr. Negativity. Unfortunately, I had to distance myself from him because he is so negative. I feel like the phone call conversations, it was hard for me to deal with after a while, hearing all the negative stuff. So the reason why I bring this up is you have to be very mindful about what you hear, what you allow people to put into your ears that affects your mind. If they are all about the negativity, you have to distance yourself from them. Again, doing it with a loving heart, because all that negativity, it is really contagious. I mean, you get off the phone, then you're all bummed, and then you call the wife, and then you're all bummed, and then 2 hours later she gets home and she's feeling all depressed because of all this negativity that just doesn't have to be. If you get up in the morning and you cannot find anything positive in your life, again, let's go back to the goal setting. Set some goals. All right, put them down. Look at them every day. What steps are you taking to get to those goals? You know, our life is not about the destination. It is about the journey. And I want you to think about that. Our life is not about the destination. It's about the journey. So I don't care how old you are. I don't care if you are 80, 90 years old. You should still have goals. What are you doing to obtain them? You know, all of you know, by now I hope, that I'm a retired police officer. In my line of work, when you retire from my particular department, 3 to 5 years later, after you retire, you're dead. You pass away 3 to 5 years after retirement on average. That's crazy. Why? Because being a police officer, it is a consuming occupation. You literally are a police officer 24/7. And so when you become a good police officer, you are a good police officer all the time. Now, what happens is when you retire, you don't have a purpose anymore. Your whole purpose when you got sworn in, got your badge, gone with your training, did all that good stuff, your whole purpose was to protect and serve. And for the most part, 99.99% of the time, you took that very seriously. And so it was very consuming, which is fine because it gave you purpose. And again, I talk about what makes us happy. It honestly is purpose, is being productive. If we are productive during the day, we are happy. It's a proven fact. And again, for all you employers out there, I'm not telling you to now say, oh gosh, now I have to make them work 12 and 14 hours a day and they have to do 30% more production. Don't do that, because then you'll just burn them out. But at the same time, having goals, having them set, having them met, and even if they're not, rewarding these successes, even how little they are, is a big deal when it comes to being a productive person. So I like to celebrate all of my little successes, and honestly, most of the time I just celebrate it with me and my wife. But you know, that's great. Sometimes it's with friends and families, and that's even better. But 3 to 5 years after a police officer retires, specifically from my department, 3 to 5 years, you're dead because you don't have a purpose. You lose your purpose. Everybody wants to get to that 20 years, that 25 years, ever how many years that they work, they want to get there. And then once they do, and they go sign their retirement papers, get their retirement badge, they're lost. What do I do now? And most don't, when they retire, they don't know. And they will flounder around for a couple of years, unfortunately, until they pass away. A very dear friend of mine that was actually in my squad, we have worked on many cases together. At 49 years old, 49 years old, guys, she passed away. And again, I can't stress the purpose enough. The positivity, the negativity are such a big deal in our lives. I get up every day and I'm so thankful for waking up, for having a purpose-driven life. I know what my goals are every day. I write them down physically. I have them right here. I look at my goals. Okay, I want to make X amount of money this year. Okay, again, what I have to do this month, what I have to do this week, what do I have to do this day in order to make that happen. And you should too. I'm not telling you that you need to follow my footsteps. You know, I make these videos, and most of them I even promote my online business, and I tell you how it's doing, but that's not what this is about. It's about training your mind to be positive so that you can move forward, so that you can have that purpose-driven life. Guys, that's really all that I have for now. I appreciate you listening to me for almost 15 minutes now. If you found value in this video, if you would, please like it, make a comment, share it to somebody. Even if your comment is not um, perceived to be all that great, even if you think it's a negative comment, I would appreciate that too. But if you found value in this, please like it, share it, leave me a comment. Guys, as always, stay blessed, live with purpose, live with passion, and take care.